Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name is Mitchell, and about a week or two ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, I got a chance to go to North Carolina to tour Boss Key Studios, and more importantly, check out their new game, Lawbreakers. So this is a a competitive first-person shooter, class-based, kind of like Overwatch, but also kind of not. And I wanted to share with you guys one of my matches, and just kind of commentate over it, and let you guys know what Lawbreakers is all about. So, we're going to start off with the Titan. There are 4 classes that are currently available, or that are currently known, really. And the Titan is kind of the Juggernaut class. This is a class that has a lot of health, some powerful weapons and abilities, but lacks a lot of mobility. Lacks the mobility that a lot of the other classes have. The Titan starts off with a rocket launcher, and every class has their loadout, basically. The Titan class has this rocket launcher, which does really good AoE, something that a lot of other classes don't really have. So he can also do this great ground pound that charges up, and he can leap forward, do a ground pound to getting close, and then switch to this lightning gun, which does a lot of damage from close range, a lot of damage over time, and damage over time is great with him because he's so hard to kill. So yeah, that's kind of the Titan. Like I said, he lacks a lot of the mobility that a lot of the other characters have, which is kind of troublesome when it comes to capturing some of the objectives. You don't really want to capture an objective with the Titan unless it's the only option. But speaking of objectives, let's actually talk about what the objective of this map is. So this is a map where it's essentially one map capture the flag a little in a way, where there's a battery in the middle of the stage, and the goal is to take that battery, bring it back to your base, and charge it at your charging station. At any time, the other team can come and steal that battery, take it over to their charging station, and they'll actually continue the charge. So the big thing about it is that this is a game mode where anyone can win at any time, because you can have a team that is 99% on the battery charge. The other team can steal that battery at 99%, take it to their base, charge the extra 1% that I needed, and win the game. That may kind of sound a bit like a bummer to you maybe, but it adds a lot of drama, and it makes sure that the game feels like it's never over, which is kind of cool. And it's something that Cliffy B did very consciously. One of the things that he emphasized in the presentation for this game is that he wanted to make every map feel like it had a sense of drama, kind of like American football. Like every down in American football has that drama. You never know what's going to happen. There could be an interception, there could be a fumble, etc., etc. And it's never fun when, and I'm speaking really to kind of be devil's advocate here and kind of explain the thought process of it. But it's never fun when you're getting steamrolled and it feels like you never have a chance to come back. In Lawbreakers, or at least in this mode, you always have a chance to come back. So I switched to a while ago. I switched to the Enforcer class. Really quick, the Enforcer class is kind of the most basic of classes, I would say. Very simple weapons. You have this assault rifle. You have a single shot pistol that does big damage if you hit with it. And more importantly, you have these shoulder mounted rocket launchers, and those charge over time. Every couple, like I would say every minute or so, you get an extra rocket, and you can just send those rockets out and deal a ton of damage to a single target. They also lock on. So really good at dealing with Titans, actually. There we go. Oh, that was weak. Got the assist though. Every class also has their own unique grenade. I wish I could remember what the Enforcers is. But yeah, I think it's something that distorts the gravity. I'm not quite sure. Let's see, what else? The Enforcer also has a movement ability. The Enforcer is the only class that can kind of sprint. So hitting shift while you're an Enforcer will kind of put you into an overdrive mode. You'll run faster, you'll shoot faster, but it's very temporary. One of the big things that you have to get used to in Lawbreakers from what I've played is the fact that everyone kind of moves really slow unless they're using their movement ability. So that right there, you can see that's my movement ability. But the thing is that your movement ability is on a pretty significant cooldown. So you have to save it for when you really need it. And hopefully we'll switch to another class here soon.
Battery is fully charged.
Got a fully charged battery. So once again, once it reaches 100%, you have to kind of protect it for like 30 seconds. If the other team steals that battery, they can take it back to their base and start charging put in their base, and they'll still have that 100% charge. So then the 30-second counter will be in their favor, and if they can protect the battery for 30 more seconds, then they'll win the game, even though, you know, perhaps the other team was the one who charged the battery in the first place.
Take the battery to your base.
Alright, so every match is a best of 3, so now we gotta get the battery.
Enemy picked up the battery.
Enemy team's taking it to their base.
In the name of the
Get fucked. Alright, let's see. Come on, Mitchell. Change. There we go.
Your side has
What are we gonna go with?
intercepted the battery.
Vanguard? Assassin?
Your side dropped the
Assassino!
battery.
Assassin is actually my favorite class. So the
Enemy
assassin
intercepted
is the
the battery.
only one with a melee focused weapon, a melee focused primary weapon, I should say. They also have probably the most interesting movement ability in the game, which is this energy whip that you can use to tether to a spot and then just quickly dash to it. You can use this to get the drop on certain enemies. You can approach from areas that very few other classes can approach from. You also have this very quick dash that you can use to maneuver around, dodge bullets, and close the distance really quick. In addition to her melee abilities, she also has a shotgun, which does pretty good damage. So if they're keeping themselves at mid range, just switch to the shotgun, and you can still be a pretty substantial threat. Long range, you don't really have any options, so you gotta be able to close the distance really easily. She also has a concussive grenade. I don't know what the actual name for it, but it's basically a concussive grenade. It does light damage, but more importantly, it pushes enemies in the direction of the explosion. So you can either use it to, you can either tactically place it to move an enemy closer to you, or you can use it to try like push an enemy off an edge or something like that. So when we're the assassin, we have to be very sneaky.
The battery.
Seeing what's gonna happen with the battery. If the battery's gonna come out, then we're gonna go for it. Looks like it's gonna stay here.
Enemy picked up the battery.
Important thing to note about the assassin: the first 2 strikes of the knives, they do not do much damage. But the 3rd strike is basically an instant kill. So you kind of have to stick on them for that last hit. Oh, and the assassin's ultimate, which I actually have charged up. You might be able to see it in a little bit. But the assassin's ultimate, they do a quick spin attack that does a shitload of damage to anyone that's around when the ability starts. But more importantly, it puts you kind of into a frenzy, where you move faster, I believe, and the most significant thing is that you can see enemies through the wall. So you can see where enemies are coming from, and you kind of plan your ambush accordingly. Those ultimate abilities, by the way, they take a really long time to charge. You can also tether onto an enemy, which is kind of neat. Oh, I just wasted my ultimate. Shameful. Shameful!
Enemy has stolen the battery.
Man, these respawn times though. And I think that's pretty much all to go over about the assassin. The assassin is super fun. Also, really hard for people to deal with if they don't know about your melee attack. Your melee attack is actually this really powerful kick that can push an enemy away. And very few people at this press event actually used it, which is great. But if the opponent doesn't know how to keep the assassin away, the assassin is by far one of the strongest classes, or I would say probably the strongest class. All right, we're gonna switch over to the Vanguard now. The Vanguard is the most mobile of all the classes. So the Vanguard has the ability to use free flight, where they kind of are tied to this fuel system, and as long as they have fuel, they can freely fly wherever they want. They can also discharge that fuel for a powerful melee attack that can not only be used to deal a lot of damage to an enemy, but it can also be used like that to kind of push yourself up and give you some vertical mobility. So right now I'm not playing a very good Vanguard. The Vanguard, the idea of the Vanguard is to really keep in the air and be in a spot where you're kind of hard to hit. You kind of rain down destruction on them. Vanguard in 0G, by the way, is probably the fastest moving class because of the fact that they're jet propelled and can just be all over the place. The Vanguard's ultimate is kind of similar to the Titan from Destiny. They can go up in the air and then crash down in an area of effect. And when they crash down, they actually cause some gravitational distortion. So people will be floating around when the Titan uses the Vanguard uses their ult. Let's see, what else do they have? They have, I forgot what their grenade does. Oh, it's like I think it's like a shrapnel grenade, so it kind of splits and does a lot of damage in a wide area. I think that's pretty much all there is for the Vanguard. We got the ult, we got the free form or the free movement in the air. I think that's pretty much it. And that's all four of the currently revealed classes in Lawbreakers. So we're about to win this game, it looks like. Oh, yeah! Oh! I was hoping I would get a direct hit on that, but whatever. And there you go. So guys, that is Lawbreakers. This is a game that's coming out on PC exclusively right now in 2016. It doesn't have a firm release date set, but they're targeting 2016. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.